Before we begin, I want to recognize and thank our sponsors who have made this luncheon today possible. So, our presenting sponsor, as I said, is the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida. They are the philanthropic backbone of our community, providing vital support to through donors to nonprofit organizations in the community. We're so grateful for the leadership the Community Foundation and its team provide. And thank you for being here. We have Isaiah Oliver as the president of the Community Foundation. You'll hear from him in just a few minutes, but let's give the Community Foundation a hand. And I also want to thank our event sponsors, Jim and Ellen West, PRI Productions, STEM to Hub, and Pratify. And together, our presenting sponsors, they provided the meal today provided by Intimate Moments Catering. And finally, we want to thank our event partners. That's Kids Hope Alliance and Duval County Public Schools. And they both play a vital role in our community in helping our students, teachers, and families. So give them a hand. And so I want to now recognize or ask to come to the stage Rabbi Maya Glazer from the Temple Jacksonville and Dr. Keith Russell from Westside Baptist Church to deliver a blessing and our invocation for today.
Good morning. As we gather to celebrate the power of reading and the gift of literacy, we begin with a moment of blessing. We know that words carry great power. In the Jewish tradition, the world itself begins with words when God decrees, "Let there be light." From the very first line of the story of our universe, we learn that language holds great creative power. Words can bring light into darkness, shift order into chaos, and invite meaning into our lives. From that first moment until today, every book, every story, every letter on a page continues the sacred act of creation. When we read, we experience infinite worlds and perspectives. When we teach someone else to read, we give them the keys to unlock those worlds and perspectives for themselves. Today, as we honor those who champion words and bring them to life, we celebrate the power of literacy to open minds, to build empathy, to strengthen communities, and to remind us of our shared humanity. May the work we do help more people find their voices, write their stories, and bring their own acts of creation into the world. May the words we share be a blessing. May the stories we tell bring understanding. And may the light of learning continue to shine through us all. Amen.
Thank you. Would you please join me for a moment of prayer? Our Father, we are very blessed today to be able to stand in this place and be in this room. And we just want to pause to acknowledge you as the creator of everything that is and give you thanks and praise for the many blessings of life that you give to us. You are a great God and you're worthy of our praise. And so, Lord, we just come to acknowledge you, first of all, as the creator of everything. God, I thank you for these men and these women who've gathered in this room today. God, I pray your blessing upon each and every one of them. I pray that your Holy Spirit will speak to their hearts. We thank you so much, Lord, for the blessings that we enjoy because we get to live in this great nation of ours and the freedoms that we have. God, we thank you for health today that allows us to be here in this room. And we would lift up those who do not have that blessing today. We ask, God, that you place your hand upon them and strengthen them. And Father, today we do thank you for those who have provided the food for us and have prepared it and are here to serve it to us today. And I just pray now that you'll use it to bless us and strengthen us, that we might serve you with all of our heart. And so we thank you today for this wonderful event. For those who are in charge, those who will speak, we pray your blessing upon each and every one. And we ask all this in the wonderful name of Jesus. And it's in his name I pray. Amen.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Dr. Russell. And everyone, please enjoy your meals. We're going to continue with the program. Next, I'd like to recognize the elected officials and dignitaries who have joined us today. Please stand as I call your name, and we're going to call them out by groups. So if you'll hold your applause until we finish with a group, that would be helpful. We'll start with our Jacksonville City Council members. So Council Member President Carrico will join us in just a little bit. Councilman Kenamero, District 1 is with us. Councilman Brockman Johnson from District 14. And Councilman Chris Miller, Group 5. And we have our Clerk of the Court, Jody Phillips. Let's give them a hand. And I want to recognize our Duval County Schools representatives who are with us. We'll call out our school board first. So we have School Board Chair Charlotte Joyce, District 6, School Board Vice Chair April Carney, District 2, School Board Member Tony Ricardo, District 1, School Board Member Cindy Pearson, District 3, School Board Member Daryl Willie, District 4, School Board Member Reggie Blunt, District 5, and School Board Member Melody Bolduc, District 7. Let's give them a hand. And now I want to recognize we have with us the Superintendent of Duval County Public Schools, Dr. Christopher Bernier, his Chief of Staff, Mike Ramirez. And this list is so long, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask that if Dr. Bernier's cabinet and leadership team that is here from Duval County Public Schools, would you all please stand and be recognized? Yep. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. And Chief Academic Officer Paula Renfro, she hates to miss this event, but she's at a conference this week. I also want to recognize those joining us from the mayor's office. So with us, we have Melissa Ross, Director of Strategic Initiatives and Liaison to the Press. Yep. We have Lynn Sherman, Executive Director of Health Programs. Yaya Cardona, who is the Hispanic Outreach Coordinator. She is. Dr. Rudy Jameson, Executive Director of the Jacksonville Human Rights Commission. Thank you. And I think I saw Mr. Charles Griggs. Did I see you, Mr. Griggs? There he is, Mr. Charles Griggs. Thank you for being here. Is anyone else here from City Council or from the Mayor's office? Okay, that's good. All right, next I want to welcome Vic Michelucci for attending on behalf of Sheriff T.K. Waters, and along with him is Chief Paul Restivo from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate that. You know, reading isn't just an academic skill. It's the foundation of freedom itself. Just as Dr. Janetta Betch Cole, who wrote our wonderful intro to our program, as she said, when students learn to read, they gain the freedom to think for themselves, the freedom to form their own opinions, and the freedom to participate fully in our democracy. With literacy, doors open, possibilities expand. But literacy is also about speaking, listening, and writing. It's about learning how to communicate and how to understand others. And that feels more urgent now than ever. If we only listen to people we agree with, we never learn to think, question, or to grow. For me, the place I first learned to listen and communicate was at my family's kitchen table. You might connect with that as well. It was at that table I listened to my dad read stories. It was at that table that I wrote my first words and did my homework. But it was also at that table that our family talked about maybe planning a summer vacation, or at other times about facing the loss of a loved one. The table was where we practiced listening. It's where we worked through differences, and it's where we learned to see each other as humans. And today I believe the table is more important than ever, because at the table, literacy happens. At the table, freedom grows, and because it is through reading, writing, speaking, and listening that we learn how to communicate across differences and solve problems together. And if we want our children to have the freedom to think, then every child must learn to read. And we must create more tables, literally and figuratively, where families, schools, and communities can sit together, talk together, and learn together. Reading gives us freedom. The table gives us connection. and together they give us hope. So thank you all for coming to the table today to recognize and celebrate the freedom that we have through literacy. And now please join me in welcoming our school board chair, the Honorable Charlotte Joyce, to the podium.
Ah, Ellen about made me cry. We were talking about my father just a minute ago. Good afternoon. Today is about one thing, our students. It's not about adults, organizations, or titles. It's about what happens when we come together at the same table with a shared purpose, helping every child in Duval County read, learn, and thrive. This year, Duval County Public Schools earned its first ever A rating. A historic achievement that belongs to our teachers, our students, and our community partners who believe in what's possible for every child. One of those partners, Read USA, has been instrumental in helping us reach this milestone. Read USA brings millions of dollars each year into our district. Philanthropic funds that expand literacy programs, hire and train teen tutors, provide books for students, and strengthen our classroom instruction. They do it with fiscal integrity and transparency, ensuring every dollar directly benefits our children and schools. Read USA continues to prove to our school board that their programs are moving the needle with robust data and rigorous return on investment measurements. Read USA also maintains a rigorous review process to ensure all materials are educationally sound, age appropriate, and aligned with Florida standards. They work side by side with our teachers and leaders to make sure every student has access to excellent and relevant reading materials. Real progress happens when we stop focusing on ourselves and focus on our students, their learning, their confidence, and their future. When our schools, families, and partners come to the table together, students win. And that's what this work is all about. Literacy builds freedom, confidence, and opportunity. Read USA is proof of what can happen when stewardship, collaboration, and purpose align. Let's keep coming to the table, not for recognition, but for results. Because every child in Duval County deserves the freedom and possibility that comes from reading proficiently. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Joyce. I appreciate that. And Ms. Joyce just finished her year as school board chair, so we appreciate your service during this past year. I know that's a lot of hard work. Give her a hand, please. So now we're going to begin the awards portion of our luncheon. And one of the reasons we gather for Peace in the Pages every year is to celebrate exceptional honorees who, for their accomplishments as steadfast leaders and champions for the betterment of humanity through literacy and their individual work in the community. The honorees were all selected based on public nominations, and then they were voted upon by the Read USA Board of Directors. And as a symbol of our gratitude and admiration, we're proud to present an honorary Read USA apron to them as a symbol of their ongoing servant leadership to the children and teens in this community. And we also have a custom engraved crystal award to commemorate the honor too. So I'd like to ask the president of the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida, Isaiah Oliver, to join me on stage. Give him a hand. So, our first award today is the Read to Lead Award. And this award is presented to someone who exhibits the bravery and willingness to lead, especially when such leadership is difficult. To present today's award, I'd like to welcome Meg Rohall, a dear friend and a longtime Read USA supporter of Read USA and of Peter from the Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm welcoming her to the stage. Meg, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Meg Rohall, and I am proud to be a Read USA volunteer and supporter, and also a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Jacksonville. It is truly an honor and an immense joy to introduce someone I've been fortunate to call a friend for many years. For everyone here who knows Peter Racine, you know that he has lived his life guided by a simple yet very deeply personal mission to connect, inspire, and support those creating a better world. Many of you know Peter as having served as the Senior Vice President of the Jaguars Foundation for 25 years, where he helped direct more than $50 million in grants to local nonprofits addressing a variety of important issues, including education and literacy. His leadership has literally touched thousands of lives right here in Jacksonville and far beyond as well. But for those of you who don't know Peter, you should know that his story of service began long before coming to Jacksonville. In college, he volunteered at Covenant House in New York City, helping runaway and homeless youth. That experience led him to open new Covenant House shelters in Toronto and Houston, and later took him to Honduras, where he and his wife Kelly established similar programs and where Peter served as the first executive director for 6 years. He then continued his community work when he and Kelly returned to Jacksonville. And now, even in retirement, he has not slowed down. He continued to work as president of the Center for Central American Empowerment, a foundation he and Kelly founded to protect and empower women and girls in Central America. He also serves as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Jacksonville, a proud partner of Read USA's annual book fair at Arlington Heights Elementary School. Through all of this, Peter remains grounded in what matters most: faith, family, and service. Those of us who know Peter know that his kindness, humility, sense of humor, and sense of purpose are every bit as powerful as his professional achievements. Please join me in celebrating a true servant leader, my friend, and an inspiration to us all, Mr. Peter Racine, as the 2025 Read to Lead Award honoree.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here with all of you because we celebrate our achievement to help with reading. And as the superintendent, or as the president of the board, the school board said, how we do it and why we do it for our children. I would say that I did note that after 25 years with the Jaguars Foundation, I've retired. I would note that do not ask J.F. Bryan advice on how to be retired, because he and Peggy are just going strong, as is so many people. So, and don't ask me, because I'm busier than ever. And I love what I'm doing. And I want to give special recognition to Ellen Wiss for your vision, because the high school students, the college students that are doing the tutoring are making their own advancements through this. And so it's helping everybody, obviously the teachers and certainly the student readers themselves. They inspire us. Literacy is the key to success in life. It's not just a local issue. And I think we need to remember that. Jacksonville competes with cities not just in the United States, but around the globe. From our shipping industry to our healthcare industry to our logistics, our finance and banking, we are competing with other cities around the globe. And it's imperative that we have a literate, thoughtful, and caring community. And that starts with us as the adults in the example that we give to our children. So I thank the mayor staff that are here today, work with the children and work with health and other areas. I thank our school board, all the companies, foundations, and individuals represented here who understand this message and are moving our city forward to be the competitive city that we need to be. If ever word tough love made sense, it makes sense today in our society. From the initiatives I started at the Jaguars Foundation, which included literally dozens of in-school and after-school reading and literacy programs, many of whom are still functioning today, helping students. And if those of you remember when former Mayor John Payton started his first children's reading initiative and made a goal of 1 million books to go to children, Mrs. Weaver provided 250,000 of those books. From our work at Read USA, and Peggy mentioned that we are the sponsor of Arlington Heights Elementary, we're also providing English and citizenship classes to our refugees in Arlington. And that is a key to them being fully productive citizens of our country. Literacy truly is an international work. The work I do with Mayan women and girls who have the lowest literacy rates among the lowest literacy rates in the world. We are working with them to improve their literacy so they can be better in negotiating business prices and understanding weights and measures when they sell things and be more economically sufficient. This international need is something I thank you for. I appreciate this recognition and it inspires me to work even harder. Thank you.
Our next award is the Mark Landon Memorial Award for Democracy Through Journalism. Mark Landon worked for the Florida Times-Union for 30 years, starting by delivering papers and rising to the position of the Director of Circulation. Mark's unwavering commitment to journalism is the essence of the award, and we are grateful for his work and his legacy, and to his sister, Charlene Landon, who's here with us today, for supporting this award every year. To present the award, I'd like to welcome Jessica Palumbo, Editorial Director for WJCT Public Media, to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Palumbo, Editorial Director for WJCT Public Media and the editor of Jacksonville Today. And it is my pleasure to introduce someone whose work has helped shape the way our community sees and talks about itself, and someone who I have been proud to have on our news team, journalist Will Brown. During his time at Jacksonville Today, Will's reporting and photography have shone a light on people and stories that are often overlooked. He started with us as a Report for America Corps member, a prestigious National Journalism Fellowship that placed him with our newsroom. Since then, Will has tackled many important stories, including the impact of congressional redistricting on Black voters, the painful aftermath of a racially motivated mass shooting, and the lasting effects of redlining on Jacksonville neighborhoods. Before joining Jax Today, Will reported for the Jacksonville Business Journal, and before that spent years as a sports reporter at the St. Augustine Record, where his storytelling made an impact both on and off the field. He made sure the class of 2020 athletes, whose season was cut short by the pandemic, still had their moment to be celebrated, and he worked to expand coverage of girls and women's sports in the community. Earlier in his career, Will reported for the Victoria Advocate and the Tallahassee Democrat, where he wrote a travelogue from the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, a trip inspired by reading Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. A graduate of Florida A&M University, as some of you know, he proudly refers to himself as a third-generation Rattler. Will also holds a master's from the University of South Florida. He is a devoted husband, father, and dog dad. Will's deep curiosity, compassion, and commitment to truth are rooted in his own family story. He is the son of an Army officer and a civil rights leader whose victory in a federal lawsuit helped expand Black voting rights in Florida. Through his journalism, Will carries that legacy forward every day by listening deeply, telling the truth, and helping this community see itself more clearly. Please join me in celebrating a one-of-a-kind storyteller, Mr. Will Brown.
Good afternoon. It's a little bit breathless. This morning, I spent some time listening to how the city is responding to SNAP recipients. So that is why I was a little bit late and I'm not able to meet some of you beforehand. There might be some good news coming, but that'll be in my reporting next week. Yesterday marked the 41st anniversary from Fred Atkins becoming the first Black person to be elected to the Sarasota City Council. He was able to be elected because 4 people filed a federal lawsuit in 1979 to expand voting rights access in Sarasota, Florida. If you don't know, I'm a Sarasota native. Born in Sarasota, raised in Rockledge, lived here in Jacksonville for about a dozen years. And that lawsuit, Fred Atkins was able to win that election because of 3 men and 1 woman filed a federal lawsuit. The men are all deceased. The woman was someone named S.E. Sanders. She is not here today. She wanted to be a journalist. She desperately wanted to be a journalist, but life and circumstances got in the way. She did the next best thing. She raised a journalist. S.E. Sanders is my mother. And so I am incredibly honored to represent my mom, my late father, and my wonderful wife, Whitney, who encourages me, my younger sister, who we were just joking about the books that we were allowed to read or were not allowed to read as children. And she says that my parents forbade her from reading Gone with the Wind as a young child. And my dad said I could not read a book about Ty Cobb as an 8-year-old. I did it anyway. Uh, So there's so much importance to being able to not just read, but read the things that you want to. And I'm so privileged to be able to represent the late Mark Landon, who was someone who committed his professional career to informing this community and making sure that we as a community collectively, no matter where you lived, had access to information as technology changed. It is humbling to be up here to receive this award. Um, there's so many wonderful people in the room. Some of you I need to talk to this afternoon, so don't go too far. And I am just privileged to be here. I want to conclude with one thing. Books allow people to learn and explore. And my son, who is not here because he's in 5th grade, is a 5-star reader at a Duval County public school. My wife Whitney and I are exceedingly proud of him, but we realize that not every child is a 5-star reader. And it is important to understand that there are more children besides our one child. And so not every child is a 5-star reader, but more people, what I've tried to do through my reporting is allow more people to be seen and to be heard and to hear their voices. And I always like to say, you might not hear my voice on the radio, but you'll hear the voice of the people I speak to. And that is always more important. Thank you so much.
Oh, well. He, he thought the apron was more important. That's good. That's good. I like that. Our last award today is the Marjorie Broward Memorial Scholarship Award. The Marjorie Broward Memorial Scholarship Award is named in honor and memory of, you guessed it, Marjorie Broward, who established libraries all over the globe and, closer to home, initiated Jack's Reads and many other book related projects during her 95 years on this earth. The Marjorie Broward Memorial Scholarship Award is presented to a school leader who exemplifies Marjorie's commitment to service, community, and the common good. To help me present this award, I'd like to ask the Honorable April Carney, School Board Vice Chair and Representative for District 2, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce someone whose leadership, heart, and vision have made an incredible difference in the lives of students and families in our district. Principal Jennifer Collier of Anchor Academy Elementary School has devoted more than 23 years to Duval County Public Schools. She leads with purpose, passion, and an unwavering belief that every child deserves the best possible education to set them up for lifelong success. And when I say every child, I mean it. Principal Collier knows the names of every single one of her students, and she sees each of them for their unique interests and potential. Under her leadership, Anchor Academy, which I should note is a Purple Star school with 86% of its student population coming from families at Naval Station Mayport, has become a place where students not only learn, but truly thrive. Principal Collier has built a culture that supports the whole child through programs like Calm Classroom, Anchored for Life, Wellness Wednesdays, Coffee with, Coffee with the Principal, and Silver and Golden Anchor Charter Program. Each of these reflect her commitment to creating a warm, nurturing environment where every student feels valued and inspired. She's also a tireless advocate for literacy. Last year, when presented with the opportunity, Principal Collier welcomed the Read USA Literacy Tutoring Program to Anchor Academy with open arms. Since that time, she has seen a transformation occur within the students and teachers involved in the program. Not only has Read USA literacy tutoring significantly improved the reading proficiency through 3rd through 5th grade students, it has helped students build confidence and excitement as lifelong learners and leaders. Beyond her remarkable professional accomplishments, Principal Collier is also a proud wife of 28 years and the devoted mother of triplets, 1 daughter and 2 boys that are now 23. Her experience as both an educator and a parent shines through in the empathy and encouragement she brings to her leadership every day. Please join me in celebrating a true champion for students, families, and literacy, Principal Jennifer Beal Collier, as the 2025 recipient of the Marjorie Broward Memorial Scholarship Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh my goodness, I'm so used to talking to my students. It's a room full of adults, very important adults. All right. First of all, I am truly honored to receive the Marjorie Broward Memorial Scholarship Award for something close to my heart, literacy. Thank you to Board Member April Carney for helping bring the Read USA tutoring program to Anchor Academy. Your continued support of our students and families means so much. To my mother and first teacher, Ingrid Montgomery, and Dr. Shamika Brown, thank you both for inspiring my love of reading and elementary education. To my husband, Irvin Collier, and our children, Sloan, Chase, and Chandler, thank you for your love and patience and support. Thank you, Read USA, for this award and for your continued partnership. Your mission keeps the love of reading alive for every child. Finally, to my incredible teachers, Mrs. Thomas, Mrs. Isom, Ms. Van Hoos, and Ms. Beamall, who retired last year, thank you for your passion for literacy and your expertise, and for running the program like a well-oiled machine. To our amazing student tutors, your dedication and meaningful relationships build with our readers make all the difference in the world. To my wonderful Anchor Academy students, especially my Read USA students, thank you for your excitement and commitment to stay after school to become great readers. Your enthusiasm truly inspires us all. This honor belongs to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our award honorees. And I just have to say really quickly, I'm a teacher at heart as well, and this is an excellent educator. And I know that because her daughter, who's over there, hey Sloan, Sloan's over there. Sloan is one of our tutors. And when Sloan came to tutoring training, I thought Sloan was a teacher. That is how well she has trained her children, that they walk into a room and she had so much knowledge about reading. And guess what? Sloan has been tutoring with us, and we're going to take a little bit of the credit for this, Sloan. She's just changed her major to early childhood education. Yeah. But I'm very proud of you, Sloan. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you. And your mom too. So now I'd like to introduce to you the Honorable Kevin Carrico, City Council President and elected representative for District 4. Mr. Carrico was kind enough to offer to share some remarks today. So please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Nothing more good than being in a room full of educators and a room full of people who share the same vision and passion as I do. Many of you know me as the city council president, but I've also worked the last 10 years at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where I currently serve as the vice president of strategic initiatives. So it is really an honor to be here to give shout outs and props and love and everything we can to the people who do the work. So I want to give another big round of applause to the award winners and the nominees and everyone who has a part in educating our young people to help them see their true potential. So thank you, Rob, for having me up here and allowing me to speak. Somebody did some bullet points and they probably put them in this script right here. I don't know if I'm going to even look down once because I can speak about education and kids and the joy I have for 30 minutes, but I think I only have 2, so I'll try to be brief. I know firsthand the work of Read. At the Boys and Girls Club, we partner together at our literacy sites here in Duval County. And if you guys have not seen the numbers and have not seen the data of how our kids are overperforming and making up grounds and really advancing their literacy skills, we all know that's the foundation of your education. If you can't read, you can't advance, you can't go to advanced studies. And we've been proud partners of Read USA since its inception. And just seeing the work that you all do, it's really touching. And to be up here on this stage in front of all of you, it's really just an honor because you are the people doing the work. So I'm not here to take any credit or toot my horn about anything we do, because this is really all about everybody here. So I just want to give everyone another round of applause, and thank you so much for allowing me to come and speak. So God bless everyone for the work that you do, and let's keep it up. Let's keep going, because we can change lives and we can change the future with our young people right now. So give everyone a big round of applause. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me speak.
All right. Yeah, you got a seat up front. There you go. That's what you get for making your speech short. I'm kidding. All right. So now we're honored to have with us Dr. David Steiner. He's the executive director of the Johns Hopkins Institute for Education Policy and the professor of education at Johns Hopkins University. Dr. Steiner has previously served on the Maryland State Board of Education, as Commissioner of Education for New York State, as Dean of the Hunter College School of Education, City University of New York, and as Director of Education at the National Endowments for the Arts. Did I miss anything, Dr. Steiner? Did you do anything else in that time? We've been kidding him. He's been visiting with us for a couple of days. He's been a joy to be with. As New York State Commissioner, he secured funding for Engage New York, America's most consulted online curriculum, He advises state education leaders, district superintendents, educational reform organizations, and publishers. Dr. Steiner has given over 100 talks on both sides of the Atlantic, published over 50 papers, and entitled and edited multiple volumes in books. His most recent book, called A Nation at Thought, Restoring Wisdom in America's Schools, was published in 2023. You can buy that on Amazon afterwards. So please join me in welcoming Dr. David Steiner.
I think after that introduction, Dr. Steiner has a great future behind him. But I want to start by saying that, like Henry VIII said to each of his wives, I won't be keeping you here for very long. So, I will, however, try to tell you some difficult truths, because you're here because you are committed to children, to children's lives, and you deserve to try to take a short trip with me to look at some of the darker sides of our challenges, because if we don't tell each other the truth, we're not going to make progress together. So we start with terrific news. This is the GPA of America's high schools. Our kids are surely learning more and more. Look at how much better they're doing than they've ever done before. Almost a grade better in high school. Extraordinary progress. High school graduation rates way up. We should all be opening the champagne. Districts across the country doing better and better. Well, let's take a deep breath. These are the results of the National Assessment of Educational Progress for each decile of student. The NAEP is usually considered the gold standard of American assessments, except for the wealthiest students, because the top 10% have the wealthiest family backgrounds, highest educational backgrounds of their families. Every other decile has done consistently worse in the last 30 years. Just let that sink in for a moment. Our GPAs are going up and up and up. Our performance is going down and down and down. Unless you think it's just the NAEP, you don't like the NAEP, well, what about SATs? Worst in 30 years. Oh, don't like SATs? What about the ACTs? Worst in 30 years. So we are simply calling success what we used to call failure. That's not a way to tell the truth. Our second great sort of resource is pre-K. Vital, because by kindergarten, the inequalities are baked in. The only thing that happens to learning gaps between kindergarten and 12th grade in this country, they get wider. So we have to work hard at pre-K. We have to invest in pre-K. Have we invested in pre-K? Absolutely. The problem is not the $12, $13 billion, for example, that we spend every year on Head Start, nor is it the good people who try to work with Head Start and do the right thing. It's that we've given them entirely the wrong curriculum, entirely the wrong things to teach. Tennessee made real progress, made a state commitment to pre-K. And the strongest university in Tennessee, Vanderbilt, did a big study, was supposed to show the great progress. It showed no progress whatsoever. There was no difference between the kids who went to pre-K and those who didn't. Why in this country will we not look beyond our borders to try to learn something? The French faced a national crisis with Algerian refugees who had no income, no language. They got to work. They did pre-K programs that just did two things: focused on teaching phonics and focused on teaching basic numeracy. 5 years later, those kids had caught up to the native French students. Let's try to get back to basics and make our pre-K dollars count. The next big idea, silver bullet, is choice. I am all for choice. It matters. When parents choose the kids' school, there's an emotional investment that matters, and why should wealthy parents be the only ones who can choose, right? But choice isn't a silver bullet by itself. When you send a public dollar to go with a child into a private school, surely the public has a right to some accountability for whether that education is any good. In some states, there's no requirement of testing. for those who get vouchers or tax credit dollars. None at all. So there's no accountability, no quality control. In this state, those children could be tested by any nationally normed test. Well, that's better than nothing. But the problem with those things is you can't compare them. How do you measure an Iowa result against a Stanford 9, against an SAT, ACT? These are 25, 30, 40 tests that can be chosen from. Poor parent. I mean, I've got a doctorate and I couldn't tell how to compare the results. I mean, honestly, my psychometricians at Johns Hopkins can't either. Let's just be truth tellers. Let's do what Indiana does. A simple requirement that the same state tests that the kids in public schools take should be taken by every kid who gets a public dollar to pay for their education. The next great silver bullet, constructivism. Let's do project-based learning. Ladies and gentlemen, one teacher in 1,000 working with project-based learning can change lives. Unbelievable. It is the best way to teach, no question about it, right? The discovery, the work that the child feels they're doing, right? 1 in 1,000. The data, and please, I'm the skunk in the party, I know this, but the data for 30 years says the same thing. For people like me who just try to teach, actually just telling the good story in the curriculum and not trying to have children invent it for themselves works better. It just does. And let's think about that for a moment. How did children learn for 3,000 years? Did they do constructivism? No, they heard stories. They were told stories. A good curriculum is just storytelling, but it has to be told. It has to be told. All right, the latest craze, 21st century skills. You've all heard of them. Critical thinking. We got to teach critical thinking. I've got a little thought experiment for you. Close your eyes and try to think critically for the next 30 seconds about nothing in particular. Really tough, right? There is no such thing as critically thinking about by itself. You have to know something to think critically about it. Oh, and how about metacognitive skills like positive mindset? Sounds really sophisticated, really sophisticated. Actually, here's what it means. It means that if you do badly on a test, instead of the teacher telling you, oh, you're lousy at math, poor kid, the teacher should say, look, let's work together. Next time, work a bit harder. And you know what? You're going to do better. We used to call that encouragement. Now it's called positive mindset. And the only difference, and I'm being very serious, is we put millions of dollars into things like grit, critical thinking, positive mindset, instead of just teaching reading and math and science. It's an astonishing waste of money. When again, the serious tweed-jacketed professors who I sit with every day study these things, they can't find any impact whatsoever. Good teachers are good teachers, and they know how to encourage students. Okay, let's talk about curriculum. There are a lot of reasons why curriculum are important. First of all, think about this for a moment. If teachers make up their own stuff, they're acting like DJs, right? A playlist of stuff. And they put it together from district curriculum, from Pinterest, from teachers pay teachers, from 100 sources on Google. And you know what? When they stir it together, it takes them, on average in this country, 7 hours a week to create a unique curriculum, which no one else is teaching. So if your kid moves from school to school, as many of our kids do, they can learn the same thing 3 times and miss something crucial. Moreover, we can't do really good professional development because everyone's teaching something different, right? And the quality of your child's education becomes a question mark. How good is your teacher at doing this strange, right, mixture that no one was taught to do for him? The real problem, though, is that when teachers do this, and this is data my institute and others put together, when they do this collating of stuff, 80% of what they pick off the internet and then teach is below grade level, because they're worried that their kids can't manage the rigor. We'll come back to helping them to do that in a moment. But they're dumbing down the grade level materials. That's what's coming off the internet. They need to teach a good curriculum, full stop. A really great teacher, again, can earn her autonomy or his autonomy. Yes, if your kids are doing really well, like a great chef, you no longer need to follow the recipe. But my goodness, let's start by following the recipe when we learn to cook. So here, the problem is the ad for Guinness beer when I was a child. Famous British ad. I haven't tried it because I don't like it. Haven't tried it because I don't like it. Teachers don't try these high quality curriculum. They skim the top because they know it's no good. They know it's not theirs. They know it's inauthentic. But the problem here is that designing a curriculum and teaching a curriculum are different skills. When Meryl Streep, as I say on the slide, when she gets a script, she doesn't say, oh, I'm not acting in this movie because I didn't write the script. She says, is it a really good script so it unleashes my acting talent? We need teachers to say the same thing. Are you giving me the world's best curriculum so that I can then use my teaching skills to bring it to life? Not, oh, I'm going to spend 7 hours a week trying to create my own, with no training to do so whatsoever. Curriculum, though, is not enough. If it were, then the 15 states that I help to advise and others who have adopted high-quality instructional materials would all be doing a lot better. After all, they've instituted these curriculum, just as I asked right a moment ago, and many of them are not doing better. And most of them are struggling to implement these materials. Why? And why is Mississippi, and I'll say a word about Louisiana in a moment, why did they get outsized results? The answer is that Kerry Wright, now in Maryland as chief, but then Mississippi, understood that you can't just dump a curriculum in a school and hope for the best. You have to do curriculum-specific professional development, now called professional learning, which means not bringing teachers to some generic training about teaching. It means being there, observing them in the classroom, teaching that curriculum and giving them immediate, concrete feedback. I know I'm stepping a little bit on third rails here, but the research is absolutely definitive on this point. We learn to get better when somebody watches us, even better when we watch ourselves on video. The first time I videoed myself teaching, I brought home the video, and my wife said, oh, David, she said, you look like a rabbi on steroids, right? Stop doing this, right? And I have still a long way to go. We have to stop with the workshop, generic, right? Backward design, going to teach you to respect each other and be better teachers. No, it's tomorrow morning. I'm going to teach this math problem, this problem in grammar, and I'm going to watch you do it. And then we're going to sit down right afterwards and we're going to debrief even better in front of a video. Professional development is crucial to teachers' self-respect. Look at the proportion of teachers who want to get into the Read USA schools because they know about the quality of the professional learning they get in those schools, thanks to Rob and his colleagues. They're massively oversubscribed. Teachers want to be good at what they do. If we're worried about them leaving all the time, maybe it's time we spoke to them as professionals and treated them as professionals and actually trained them as professionals. Mississippi did that, 112-point plan. I was sitting next to Kerry Wright when she put it together, literally sitting next to her. The whiteboards around the room were filled with the 112 points, and I started laughing. This is before many of you were born. She actually made good on this. And the huge portion of it was every teacher is going to be trained in the science of reading. Every teacher's going to, the schools, the needy schools are going to have trained coaches who are going to be in those classrooms, looking at those teachers, giving them the feedback. Every trainee teacher is going to pass a rigorous assessment in the science of reading. Every detail counts. Okay, next point. Curriculum, even good ones, aren't all the same. I said a moment ago we can't think critically about nothing in particular. We have to teach knowledge, right? Now it's all about meta this, meta that, meta everything. No, unfortunately, you have to learn stuff. Have to learn stuff. In France, going back 1987, Socialist Prime Minister Jospin said, oh my goodness, France has this national curriculum. Got to give teachers the choice, got to give them the freedom to create their own curriculum. Got to stop with these lists of books by dead white people, right? He was right about that, not about anything else, right? What happened then was that, well, you see what happened. Every group of students did worse in reading, but the children who suffered most were the poorest, right? The substitution of knowledge with skills, empty skills, destroyed the reading skills of a generation of French children. And we are at risk of doing the same thing. Our state tests, there's nothing to do with Florida, this is across the country, say find the main idea on a text you've never seen before. So why should teachers and students take any text seriously? Every other advanced industrialized country, Rabbi on steroids, every advanced industrialized country has lists of texts that students read, and then they are tested on their knowledge, their criticism, their response to those texts. There's a reason for reading them. They build knowledge. All right. Louisiana is the only state that put knowledge-rich curriculum into every school. 85% of Louisiana's teachers teach the same curriculum. It's a local control state. But John White, the commissioner, brought teachers together from across the state. He said, you choose the curriculum. They looked at all the ELA curriculum out there. They said they're lousy. He said, all right, we'll create one. They got a publisher. They produced guidebooks. It's an extraordinary curriculum. It's knowledge-rich. And look at what happened to their fourth graders, their eighth graders. You may not be excited by those flat results. They're the best in the country, right? Everyone else except Mississippi collapsed, right? And they're still collapsed on the national assessment education programs. So the teaching of knowledge-rich curriculum, ask yourselves, take a look at Benchmark. Does it have enough knowledge building, right? Does it build knowledge about the world? About history, about the human condition? If it doesn't, let's add some readings, right? It's crucial. Children from upper middle class do better on our state tests on reading, not because they're better readers, but because they know more about the stuff the text is on. It's a straight line correlation. The wealthier they are, the higher the scores. We might as well just give an SES, social economic status test. Almost not worth testing. Right? In other countries, we test what we know. Okay. Accelerated learning. This is where Dr. Steiner can be happy for a change. And I mean this. When we look at the research, and the best research in the world was done by my former colleague, Dr. Slavin at Johns Hopkins on tutoring. When we go through everything that we know about what makes tutoring work, dosage, training, quality of tutoring, Read USA, actually, they read the book. They looked at the truth. They did the research on the research. Amazingly rare in American education, right? We have tutoring all over the country that is another huge waste of money. Why? It's done once a week. It's done by people who don't know what they're doing. It has no relationship to what's happening in the school, right? In Read USA, the teachers are there, right? That's incredibly rare. You may take it for granted because you've got this wonderful program. I wish I could just wave a magic wand and have it everywhere. It's not the norm at all. So please, celebrate what you have. It's incredible. It is, if I wrote the textbook on effective tutoring, This is it. Here it is. All right, let's summarize. We need teachers, especially first, second, third year teachers, to teach the great curriculum, not pretend that they are trained to be curriculum creators. They can't just be given it. They have to be given the support to teach it. Please, please, please. Right? That's everything. It's sweating the details. It's watching them teach. It's giving them feedback. Make sure those curriculum are knowledge rich. Don't waste money on bad pre-K. Ask yourselves, is your pre-K program here teaching the right basics? Don't try to do everything because you'll end up doing nothing, as we know from the other data. Try to channel out the noise of all the metas. Your instinct is right, ladies and gentlemen. Education is still about knowledge. And reading, as Franz Kafka, the great writer, once said, is about breaking the ice inside us with an ice axe. Reading a book should be like breaking the ice in your head. It's exciting. It opens worlds. Thank you so much for making it possible for young children.
Thank you, Dr. Steiner. Appreciate that. So, some of you might have heard some things that you go, that's okay. Conversation is good. Thought is good. Remember, the sign of education, someone said this, I don't know who, maybe it was me, I don't know. The sign of of an educated person is being able to listen to just about anything without losing your temper. Or what's the other part? Your confidence. Yeah. So it's okay to hear things that shake us a little bit. I think it causes us to have really good reflection, and we can come out of it with better results for kids. So I appreciate Dr. Steiner being strong and courageous to share some of these thoughts with us today. I didn't really make that up, by the way. I can't take credit for that. Okay. Some of you don't care. You're like, move on. Okay. So we have some exciting news to share with you today. Some of you might have heard about the grade level reading collective that was brought to Jacksonville in 2019 called Read Jax. Not Read USA, Read Jax. Today I'm joined by several individuals who are going to share with you all of the literacy progress that our community has made during the past 6 years and how the Read Jax collective is taking a reinvigorated and expanded approach to further closing the literacy gap in our community. So first, please join me in welcoming Meredith Chartrand-Frisch to the stage, and she is the Kids Hope Alliance board member. Meredith, come on.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Meredith Chartrand-Frisch, and I'm proud to serve as a Kids Hope Alliance board member. Dr. Steiner, thank you so much for sharing the hard truth. I'm here to talk about where we've been and where we're going to go, and I'm really encouraged because of the people in this room. So, over the past several years, the campaign for grade level reading, known locally as Read Jax, has truly put a stake in the ground for literacy in Jacksonville. Together, we have rallied around one of the most important goals for our city, making sure every child can read on grade level by the 3rd grade. We began this journey by bringing the campaign to Jacksonville in 2019. That decision connected our city to a national movement of communities working together to improve literacy through collaboration, shared accountability, and collective impact. Since then, we've come a long way. Together, the Kids Hope Alliance and our partners across the city have invested millions of dollars to strengthen literacy within the schools. We have woven reading supports into programs that reach children and families every day. We've provided services from literacy tutoring and teaching professional development to parent engagement and community awareness, all working towards one shared vision. This work has never been about one organization. It's about what happens when a community comes to the table. When government, nonprofits, businesses, schools, and families align their efforts for the sake of our children. because we can all agree on this: literacy is essential. Our students are worth it, and the work is vital for the future of Jacksonville. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to every partner who's been part of this coalition, those who have brought their time, their expertise, their passion to this work. Read Jax has been powered by a collaboration, and we would not be where we are today without the people in this room. Earlier this year, after a thoughtful process with our partners, we recognized it's time to take the next step, to build a foundation and strengthen Read Jax as a true collective impact model. The Kids Hope Alliance is officially passing the baton to the Community Foundation of Northeast Florida, which will now serve as the backbone of the organization. This transition reflects growth, not departure. KHA will remain an active and committed partner, still at the table, continuing to support children and families while helping to guide the coalition's long-term vision. With the Community Foundation's leadership, Read Jax will expand its focus, maintaining a strong foundation in early literacy through grade 3, while intentionally extending its efforts through 12th and beyond. Together, we've proven what's possible when a city stands united around literacy, and together, we will keep building a brighter future for all of Jacksonville's children. Now, please join me in welcoming the president of the Community Foundation, Northeast Florida, Isaiah Oliver.
Good morning. It's not morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is a privilege to be here today to share an important next chapter in Jacksonville's campaign for grade level reading, known as Read Jax. My name is Isaiah Oliver, as noted, and I'm hearing two people ringing in my ear: my incoming board chair, Richard Sisiski, with the 3 S's, and my brother Darnell, who I think just headed out with the 5 B's. Anybody know what the 5 B's are? Be brief, brother, be brief. The 3 S's: stand up to be seen, speak up to be heard, and sit down to be appreciated. So I'm going to try to get through this. Brother President Kiriko was very clear that only one person a day gets to go off script. So I have a script in front of me. I'm going to try to stick to it. But again, I am thankful for the opportunity to be here. I want to begin, or I guess before I begin, I want to thank Meredith for that kind handoff. And for all of the work that Kids Hope Alliance, including my cousin, Marsha Oliver, who wasn't able to be here today, and that whole team has done to keep this work and this effort moving forward. Give them another hand. Meredith and I also, personally, I just want to thank you for all of the work that you and your family do in this community. Meredith and I have a little bit in common. You all might not know, we both have 4 kiddos. All right, so I saw the oohs, I heard the oohs in the... We both have 4 kiddos, and before we got here this morning, I'm sure both of us had to do a whole lot of work. I mean, parenting is a full-time job, full contact sport. So we had to do a whole lot of work before we got here today. How many of you all had to drop off kiddos before you got here? How many of you all are Uber drivers on the weekends? Listen, if you ever tried to get multiple kids where they need to be between practices and breakfast requests and missing shoes, you know that parenting is, again, a full contact sport. On the weekends at my house, in the Oliver household, it is a crazy, wild ride. One kid has basketball, another one has volleyball, one is missing a shoe, and one is always wondering if we're there yet. Anybody got that kid? And you all know, because Jacksonville is 35 minutes from Jacksonville, we spend a lot of time in the car. On Saturdays, we're navigating somewhere between 6, 7. You saw what I did there? If you didn't get that, you need to spend more time with kids. But somewhere between the practices, the errands, and the music, there's usually a moment when the car gets quiet, the windows are down, and we're just riding through the city that we now call home. Those are the moments when I catch my kids watching the world around them, watching the neighborhoods roll by, watching the murals, the parks, the people, watching this city, their city, come alive. And I think to myself, that's reading too. Not the kind that you do with a book, but the kind that teaches you to read the world. At our dinner table, those kids love to ask why. Why do we have to learn that? Why can't we do it this way instead? And I always tell them, chase the why. because every why you ask opens another door. I come to you from a small city called Flint, Michigan. Anybody know where Flint is? All right, it's a community that lived through a water crisis and learned painfully that we must reserve the right to question everything, to ask why and why not and what now. And that instinct to question is the root of learning. It's also the root to Rob's point of freedom. Statesman and educator Frederick Douglass once said from his own lived experience, once you learn to read, you will forever be free. We all know that helping a child learn to read doesn't depend on just one person or one organization. It depends on all of us, teachers and principals, parents, neighbors, faith leaders, community partners. Every one of us plays a role in helping our child or our children learn to read and thrive. That's why today we come to the table together to recommit to literacy as the thread that binds us as a community. Literacy connects us. It's the foundation of opportunity, the bridge of understanding, the key to full participation in civic life. And without literacy, we cannot truly be free. Freedom comes from the ability to read, to think critically, to understand the world around us, and to make informed decisions about our future. Literacy enables freedom, personal, educational, and economic. That is the strength of collective impact, bringing people together in a structured, intentional way to solve challenges that no single organization can solve alone. It's more than collaboration. It's about coordination, accountability, and alignment. And when you do this well, we move from isolated programs to citywide systems. And that's exactly what Read JAX is designed to do. As the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida steps into the role of backbone organization for Read JAX, our job is simple: to hold the center, to keep the work connected, to convene partners, and to ensure that our collective effort continues to grow stronger. The backbone doesn't mean that we're going to do all of the work. It makes sure that the work stays connected. We become what I would describe as the glue. We will help coordinate communications, manage shared data, and align resources so that every effort, whether in a school, a nonprofit, a neighborhood, or a family home, stays focused on our shared North Star, ensuring that every child in Jacksonville learns to read well and continues to read for success in life. Our focus will remain on early literacy from birth through grade 3 because those years are foundational. But as Dr. Steiner reminded us, early literacy is not enough. We cannot stop at 3rd grade. We must continue to build, nurture, and support reading and learning through high school and beyond. Because reading well at every stage of life opens doors to graduation, to higher education, to meaningful work, and to full participation in our democracy. Literacy isn't an academic skill, it's an economic one. It shapes the talent pipeline that fuels our city's workforce, innovation, and growth. A student who learns to read becomes a worker who can adapt, a leader who can communicate, and a citizen who can engage. When we invest in literacy, we invest in freedom, in opportunity, and in strength of Jacksonville's future. We've already seen what happens when we unite systems like this. Anybody on the systems building committee? We've done a lot of work. I saw some hands in the back. We've done a lot of tremendous work aligning attendance data, identifying barriers, and helping families keep children in school on time and ready to learn. That is collective action. That is collective impact in action. This transition from Kids Hope Alliance to the Community Foundation is not a handoff, it's an expansion, a widening of the circle so that more partners can come to the table and build on the incredible foundation that has already been laid. In the months ahead, we're bringing together partners from education, that means you, business, government, philanthropy, and the broader community. Together, we'll align strategies, again, share data, and chart a path that strengthens literacy from cradle to career, from twinkle to wrinkle. Because when we come to the table, united by the belief that literacy is the thread that binds us, we can achieve something extraordinary. A community where every child can read, every voice can be heard, and every person can live free. Again, this is a citywide effort, and it will take every one of us to ensure that every child has the tools they need to thrive. So please take a moment. I'm looking for the scan. Take a moment to scan the QR code on the screen. I'm stalling. Take a moment. It's in the program. Kevin, I shouldn't have read my script. No. Take a moment to scan the QR code in your booklets to let us know you're with us so that we can be connected for the next steps ahead. Margaret Mead once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Thank you all so much for having me. And now please join me in welcoming our Superintendent of Duval County Public Schools, Dr. Christopher Bernier.
What he just whispered in my ear will remain a secret forever. Dr. Steiner, Dr. Kelly, Read USA, the other gathered partners, members of the commission, and most importantly, my amazing school board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. It is truly an honor to celebrate the incredible work happening across our community and our school district to ensure that every child in Duval County can read at grade level, and to mark a milestone in our district's achievement history. First, it's vital for me to recognize the work and effort of our school board members. These are the individuals who drive the expectations of increased student achievement and safety each and every day. Can we please take a moment to recognize their leadership and commitment to student literacy? I'm sure that we all know that reading by third grade is a critical point in an educational journey. Research shows that this time in this educational learning process, students are expected to be more complex. They read more complex texts, they understand increasing rigorous ideas, and in third grade, students move from learning to read to reading to learn. What that means is expectations for students and their abilities grow. They must analyze, infer, understand author's purpose, figurative language, grow in fluency, and draw meaning from what they read. That's no small task, but when students cannot do this with confidence, the consequences can be long-lasting. And while those early outcomes of Read by Grade 3 are vital, early literacy is only the beginning. We must continue to support our students as readers and writers and thinkers all the way through middle and high school. Because reading isn't just an elementary skill. It's the foundation for every subject, every opportunity, and every pathway to success, both before and after graduation. Students who struggle with reading in third grade are far more likely to face academic difficulties. Nationally, 74% of the children whose reading skills are less than sufficient by third grade are less likely to graduate from high school. They're more likely to encounter behavioral challenges, experience discouragement, or struggle socially. Another way to look at our issue is to use Duval data about our children. A DCPS third grader who is reading at a proficient level is 95% more likely to graduate from high school. Either way you look at it, without a diploma, the opportunities for college, career, and lifelong success become much harder to reach. And there's something even deeper. Literacy is the academic tool that changes hearts. It bridges divides, leads to conversation, and quite honestly, I believe is the essence of our freedoms. The ability to read proficiently gives a person independence, confidence, and voice. Literacy allows us to understand perspectives beyond our own and to connect across differences. It also allows us to build empathy. It gives our students the power to think, to participate fully in society, and to chart their own futures. That's why our work together through Read JAX Coalition is so important. Read JAX was created to unite our community around the single powerful goal, ensuring that each child in Jacksonville can read at or above grade level by the end of third grade and continue to grow as confident readers and learners throughout their education. I'm proud to say that this shared commitment with our partners and with Read JAX is beginning to produce real results. Dr. Steiner, your words are taken very, very seriously by my academic team that stood easy earlier. We have built a curriculum that our teachers don't have to plan. We focus on classroom walkthroughs, going in and seeing a teacher educate children, making sure that that education is aligned to a standard, that the level of rigor is necessary, and whether the student is ritually compliant, which I will say all of you are being very good for me right now. You're waiting for Rob to say goodbye, and I'm stuck between you and the door. You're being ritually compliant. We can walk into classrooms and see that in our children. Or are they truly engaged in the learning process? Additionally, we've built curriculums and exemplars and pacing charts that allow our students to know exactly where they are. So if they move from the beach to the west side or from the north to Mandarin, they will be almost identically in the same place on that same day. So while we're not perfect and we are still using a state test to measure our performance, those are the rules we've been dealt. However, we've taken some of your knowledge and your wisdom and those like you, and we've applied it to the way we're approaching our education. And that's why I'm so proud to say we're an A school district. We're an A school district because we've reached a pinnacle of success, but it's not the top. There's always more research to learn and more to do. So I do want to celebrate that A rating. I want to talk about the increase in student proficiency in every tested grade level and in every subject area. That led to 45 of our schools increasing 1 or 2 grades in the state of Florida rating system, and has led to 99% of your schools, our schools, being A, B, or C graded. But it's also led to incredible work. If you come here on a Thursday, back in the back building where most people don't visit, you'll find the regional superintendents, the curriculum leaders, going over the order of instruction, what's expected, looking at exemplars, helping me to understand them when I walk classrooms next week, exactly what I should be seeing. And when I walk 2, 3, 4 middle schools with my principal, when we come out, that conference in the hallway as to what we saw, whether the students are actually learning and engaged in their learning process. And then I'll go, I think Dr. Steiner referred to this, who's tired? Sometimes our teachers are tired because they're doing all the work. But occasionally that's their responsibility, sir, and I appreciate you pointing that out. They can't always be the sage on the stage, but if we're really going to get reading, writing, and math right, we have to help our kids understand through people who are knowledgeable about how to do that work and help them reach those pinnacles. You see, it's an extraordinary achievement to get to this level, but it's one we have to share. It belongs to our teachers, it belongs to our students, our school leaders, our families, our community partners, and to our school board. But it also belongs to all of our partners. This accomplishment of an A grade and our work around curriculum and ensuring that our children are moving in the right direction and our classrooms are moving in that direction as well, this accomplishment is proof that when we focus our energy, align our efforts, and come together at the table, we can move student achievement and outcomes so that all students are able to reach their fullest potential. As proud as we are of all of this progress, we all know we have more work to do. Today, about 52% of our third graders are reading at grade level. That number is up from previous years, and it represents hundreds of children who are now stronger readers. But it also means that nearly half of our third graders still need more assistance. So we're seeing improvement in attendance as well. Fewer students are missing 20 or more days of school than in previous years, but we still have work ahead to ensure that every child is present, learning every day. Because every missed day is a missed opportunity. We know that when students show up to school, our teachers are moving with them at the proportional rate of instruction, as verified by Read USA's randomized control study that you'll see probably later when Dr. Kelly comes back up to speak. That study also showed that students reading below grade level made accelerated growth due to Read USA's literacy tutoring intervention, moving them closer to grade level in reading proficiency. You see, Duval County Schools, we're committed to doing our part. We've adopted classroom standards. We've adopted curriculums. We do believe in the science of reading and are using it. Our students are ready. Our educators are at the table. Our schools are engaged, and our school board and my leadership team are fully behind these efforts. But we know we can't do it alone. Our A grade, that A stands for all. It's not just mine. It's not just yours. It's not just our school board. That A reflects the entire effort that's recognized in this room and for the people who can't even be here today. We can't get to this point in our educational journey without everybody participating, and I want to thank all of you for being part of that all. It also takes families reading at home, students arriving to school on time, even with a missing shoe, we can handle that, and a community that supports children's health and well-being so they are able to learn. We welcome the Community Foundation of Northeast Florida. Thank you as the new backbone to the organization of Read Jacks, and look forward to the next phase of our collective impact. The coalition is growing stronger, and its reach will now extend beyond early literacy to support students all the way through high school and into the workforce. Finally, I'd like to express a very deep gratitude to Read USA. Rob, you've been a fantastic thought partner. I was reminded sitting here today of us sitting at 2 round tables when the Gentry was closed. And we finished 2 meetings and we said, we have an attendance plan. And I looked at you and said, we've only had 2 meetings. And you said, welcome, we'll figure it out. And we've continued to figure it out. Read USA has been a dedicated partner to all of us. Their literacy tutoring program, workforce development model, teen tutors, and teacher professional development efforts have made a tremendous difference in our students and in our schools. To everyone in this room, thank you for standing with us. Thank you, and together we'll prove that Jacksonville is a city where every child can read, succeed, and experience the true freedom of what literacy provides. We are not there yet, but together we will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bernier. So as we close today, I want to say 2 points, make 2 points. Number one, we all have a why of what we do. And I want to show, I didn't tell them I was going to do this, but I want to show you my why of why we do this work. Right over here, they don't have to stand, but if they'll wave, my 2 nieces are here, Lillian and Lila. Y'all wave right there. And today is Lila's birthday. She does not want us to sing. Lila's at Thomas Jefferson Elementary, Lillian's at James Weldon Johnson Elementary. And when I get mired down in all of the stuff that adults get worried about, they remind me of my why every day. Find your why. Who is it that grounds you in this work? That's our future right there. They're going to be taking care of us real soon. We need to invest in them. How can you invest in them? Glad you asked. That was smooth, right? There's a card on your table. We would love for you, if you're not yet a supporter of Read USA, we'd love for you to be one. And you know what the great thing about what we do is? For every dollar that you give, there's $2 that is matched. You know why? Because we have grants and we have partnerships with Kids Hope Alliance, with AmeriCorps, and other funders so that your dollar is tripled. That's amazing. So if you'll look at your card on the table and you can see that with your investment in our literacy tutoring program and our efforts with kids, your dollars will go a long way to serve kids so that we can continue partnering with Duval County Public Schools to get our kids, even more kids, reading on grade level. There's other opportunities for you to be involved as well. We have our mock interview day coming up with our teens. We use teenagers to do our tutoring, and that's kind of the special sauce with our tutoring program. If you want to come see some amazing teens, and some of them are here in the building today, you can come to our mock interview day and you can spend some time on a Saturday helping them practice interview skills for their soon-to-be job offers that they're going to have. So those are some ways that you can get involved with Read USA. As we close, I want to thank a couple of groups of people. Our Read USA board and Read USA staff. Would you please stand? Thank you. I get to be the one up here speaking, but this does not happen in isolation. A lot of people are working to make this possible, not just this event, but the work that we do. Again, I want to thank the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida, Wanda, Isaiah, all of your team. Thank you for the work that you've done to support this event and for moving forward with Reed Jacks. Thank you for that. And Kids Hope Alliance, thank you for the work that you've done through the years and will continue to do to support children in this community. I appreciate that. And last of all, thank you to all of our donors, all of our supporters, all of our volunteers. It's because of you that we're able to keep this work going, and we're going to continue to do this good work. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and have a great afternoon.